Hello, my fellow Americans. I'm Dr. Stephen Clark Bradley, and this is what I think. As promised, I'm working on getting some ideas out here to you about who this person is running for vice president for the Democrat-Socialist named Kamala Harris, or Kamala Harris. Say it any way you want. It doesn't matter. Because no matter how you say her name, it doesn't change who she is. Kamala Harris is a person with a very sordid racial background, full of hypocrisy and immorality. She truly is, and you'll believe that after these videos. I'm not sure how many videos this will entail, but there's quite a bit of information here about her background, her family, her time in California in politics. There's so much to be said for her. And, recently she said, if you vote for the Harris administration, see, and then Joe Biden said the same thing, the Harris administration, which tells me that even Joe Biden knows what the ultimate plan is. Like I said in the last videos that I made, that he is just a pipeline. He is the conduit that will bring socialism into the country. And after it's here and ingrained and in the ground, it will never leave fully. It's impossible. So Kamala Harris is a person who in many ways is far worse than Joe Biden. And the scariest thing is that once they're elected, if they are elected, I mean, for all practical purposes, Kamala Harris will be the real president of the United States. And Joe Biden's going to be at his desk waiting for his pudding cup and, changing his Depends, because the guy he's done. He's finished. He's washed up. And, I'm not criticizing him for that. That's not his fault. And I'm actually sad for him. Not really. I don't like him because I consider both of them to be enemies of the United States of America. Enemies of what we believe in the Constitution. Enemies. Look how they're acting right now, all of the Democrats, because we have an open seat on the Supreme Court. And Donald Trump is doing his constitutional duty and his right to appoint the next Supreme Court justice to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And it's been far too long in waiting. But because he's doing what his right is as president of the United States, he's elected for 4 years each time. 4 more years coming, God willing. But now they're saying they're going to impeach him. That they're going to have bedlam on the streets again. That's got to be looked at as, calling for a revolution. That can't be legal. We saw what William Barr just did. He just called out and said that New York and in Oregon, that they are anarchist areas. All right, unbelievable. Portland, Oregon has been bombarded by anarchists for over almost 4 months. They took a break and now they've started up again. So we are really seeing what's being planned by these evil Democrat-Socialists. And amongst all of them, the two most dangerous are Joe Biden and really, more than him, Kamala Harris, because she will be the next president, even if she's called vice president. And it would be very easy to have him removed, even physically, by death, because it would be easy to call it, he just died, he's old. And she will be the next president if they're elected. So, everybody tries to say that Kamala Harris is a moderate. Kamala Harris is not a moderate. She is the most liberal, the most socialist person in the Congress. And I'm talking about of anybody that's in the House of Representatives or anybody that's in the Senate. She is the most liberal and most socialist leaning of all members of Congress from either house. Now, there's a group that likes to, kind of gauge and rate which ones are conservative, which ones are moderate, which ones are the most liberal. And this group is called government, the website gov/track ranks all of the members of Congress as to their ideology score. What do they believe and what do they do? And they do that they look at the bills that they seek to pass, the ones that they sponsor and co-sponsor, and what the bills are about and what the internal workings of those bills are. And after doing that, it was discovered that Kamala Harris is the most liberal person in Congress from either the House of Representatives or the Senate, where she resides, unfortunately. But actually, we want to keep her residing there until the next election when she has to run again. We don't want her in the White House. That's for sure. But she is far more liberal than Bernie Sanders. Nobody likes it. You think about that, but we think of Bernie Sanders as the most liberal person in either the House of Representatives or the Senate, where he is. But actually, she ranks more liberal than Bernie Sanders. That's hard to believe, I know. It's something that we would never think would be, because the most conservative is a 1.0. Okay? I didn't check who that is, but whoever it is, I can shake their hand. And the most liberal is 0.0, and that's what her score was. She is a 0.0 score. And so this woman who wants to be your next vice president, and in effect, your next president, Kamala Harris, is a socialist. She is not moderate. Don't believe what they tell you in the press. She is not a moderate. She is a liberal. And she is an absolute socialist. She even sponsored, along with Bernie Sanders, for his Medicare for All bill. And now she's running away from it, trying to say, well, I don't agree with him. But she was one of the co-sponsors with him on that. So don't listen. These people, they like to think that you're stupid. They like to think that I'm stupid. They think that we can't remember the past. We can remember the past. Our name's not Joe Biden. We're not senile yet. Don't listen to him. She is not a moderate. She is a socialist, a very deep one. And as I've said before in my videos, Lenin said, the goal of socialism is communism. That's what they want. They want absolute power. Believe me, there really are no true believers in communism. The real purpose of communism is power. So we can say the goal of socialism is communism, and the goal of communism is power, authority, to control the people, to control the masses, to tell you how to live, what you can eat, what you can buy, what you can drive, where you can work, how long you can live. It's very dangerous. If you go back and see some of my videos that I've done on what is socialism and how did it ruin Venezuela, and how are they going to bring it into America, it will scare you if you haven't seen them already. They're on YouTube. You can watch them. And a very dangerous thing to elect these two people to the presidency and the vice presidency of the United States. But we're going to go through this, and we're going to talk about some different areas of Kamala Harris's life. It's going to be 2 or 3 videos, I believe. But as we go through it, you'll see me looking down at my notes. As I said last time, it's not a Joe Biden moment. It's just I'm trying to make sure I give you all the information that I can, that you can be well informed before you go to vote. When you go to that voting box, or when you fill out that ballot at home, if you got one, you do it very carefully. You make sure that you know who you're voting for. I encourage you all to vote straight Republican. Now, I am not a Republican, okay? I am not. I'm just an American. I'm an independent. I ran for mayor of South Bend, Indiana, back in 1999, and I found the Republican Party to be garbage in many ways. I don't like Republicans. I think they want power just as much as the Democrats. But their people that they run for office are much better. Many of them have faith in God. They support the Constitution. They love the U.S. flag. They know at least how to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, which Joe Biden even messed that up yesterday. So, I mean, come on. So I want to encourage you to vote straight Republican, because they're going to look after your rights, your needs, and your nation much better than the Democrats ever will. The Democrats don't care about you. They really don't. They care about power. Right now, they know that there's a seat open on the Supreme Court. They know that President Trump has every right and the duty to appoint the next Supreme Court justice. And now they're threatening, the Democrat-Socialists are threatening to impeach him again. Can you believe that? To cause bedlam on the street. I mean, what else can they do? Look what they've already done. For months now, they've had people burning down our buildings, destroying people's businesses, blowing up bombs, attacking our troops. What else can they do except a full-blown revolution? After this set of videos, my next set is going to be about the coming revolution that this Democrat-Socialists are planning. What they're planning to do to destroy your country and rebuild it. You ever look at Joe Biden's theme for his campaign? Build back better. You got to tear down before you build back. And that's their goal. To tear us down. To destroy us completely. And their evil ambassadors are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, she likes to talk about, we need to give reparations to African Americans whose families were former slaves. I'm American Indian. I have a lot of American Indian blood, Native American. I'm very proud of that. I cherish that. And I know my ancestors were seriously abused. But you know what? I love America. I love the way we are. We need to get over ourselves. There's nobody alive today who's ever owned a slave. There's nobody alive today who would say that, my family was right to abuse black people. We don't owe anybody anything for the past behavior of our forefathers. That was their mistake. And I'd be damned if I'm going to pay for someone else's mistake. I don't ask anybody to give me money because my Cherokee ancestors were abused. I know all about it. I've studied it. I've even taught it in school. I know all about it. We need to get over it. There's a bitterness, a deep, deep-seated bitterness in America. But Kamala Harris, it's interesting. She's called for reparations for African Americans. But she fails to tell anybody that her great-great-grandfather was the third largest slave owner and slave seller in Jamaica, believe it or not. So actually, she likes to come across like she's some great suffering person because of slavery. She's actually a beneficiary of slavery. All right, her great-great-grandfather named Hamilton Brown was the third most powerful slaveholder and slave seller in Jamaica. And that was all discovered from her father's own writing that he wrote in a Jamaican newspaper or magazine about his great-grandfather and her great-great-grandfather's slaveholding and slave dealing in Jamaica. He killed lots of people. He owned the plantation. So here, now think about it. Here, Kamala Harris and the Democrats, they say that we need to tear down the Washington Monument. We need to tear down the Jefferson Memorial. We need to tear down the Lincoln Memorial. We cannot have these things because these were all slaveholders. Not Lincoln, of course. But that's what they say. Because they owned slaves in the past, they need to be torn down. And then they nominate a candidate for vice president, Kamala Harris, whose very close past means she has the genes, the DNA, the blood of a former slaveholder, the third most important one in Jamaica. That's the hypocrisy of the Democrat-Socialist Party. We're going to go through this and we're going to look at it in detail. And we're going to talk about who she is, what she's calling for. And I say, if they want reparations, let the Democrats pay first. Let Kamala write the first check. Because she's as guilty, more guilty than any of you and me. So she's a hypocrite. And she's a liar. And we can never elect her to vice president of the United States. So as we go through these, I hope you'll watch them all. I'm going to give you every reason why not to vote for Kamala Harris, as I've already done for Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. I'll be back in a little bit. Thank you.